6 years, we've recycled over 500 million barrels of pullback and produced water back into fresh water for reuse. And we're now exporting this knowledge into Pennsylvania and the Fayetteville Shale in Arkansas. Our operations in Pennsylvania currently far exceed the new proposed specifications that the DEP is bringing in for January 2011. But we wouldn't be here without some very unique things that are present in Texas, and that is participation with the industry, a very supportive regulatory environment, and a willingness to encourage new ideas. So I encourage the EPA to continue along that line. Thank you very much.
And next, number 61 is Susan Jerry.
Hi, I'm Susie Jerry, and I'm a resident of Fort Worth. And I'm figuring since you're only going to 4 cities, we must be ground zero. Fort Worth, that is, for this area. And I know you said you wanted input for the design of this study. And, you know, what are the priorities? It is water. And I think a priority for this study needs to be transparency and independence. And I would like to see you demonstrate that, how your study is transparent, or will be transparent, and how it will be independent. You asked for what are the gaps in our knowledge. We need to see an accounting and identification of all the chemicals used for this fracking process. Without that, that's a gap in the knowledge. We need an accounting of all of that, particularly if you want it to be independent and transparent. You said, what are the data and information you need? Well, you all don't know us. We're Fort Worth, but we have our own stories. And I suggest you assign one of your workers to go through the Fort Worth Star-Telegram for the past 5 years and put in hydraulic fracking or chemicals or water or whatever some buzzwords are to really get the local news stories of the residents and what they're experiencing. These are the case studies. You said, what are the scenarios? These are the scenarios, are what is really, how it really is impacting the citizens of this area. Another recommendation is just that you really show to us how transparent and independent this is. We'll be watching you. We're going to hold you accountable as guardians of the protection of our environment and also as paid servants of the public. So good luck.
Hi, I'm from the natural state, and we would like to keep it that way. This is some water from one of my neighbors that was affected. I didn't know anything about this fracking until my water started turning gray, cloudy, stinky, and then suddenly no water. And I tried to get help from my local agencies, and I can tell you, Arkansas is the same as Texas. Our agencies are so unresponsive. And in fact, the same stories could be told probably all across the country in these shale areas. They cover up, they lie, and they do everything they can not to have a case in their files. They'll lose things too, by the way. Another thing, as far as suggestions, as far as the well casings, I've done some digging, and I found out that Schlumberger has an article that shows some Russian scientists that they hired have proved a link between earthquakes and fracking. Now, what happens to a massive cement well casing in an earthquake? Has anybody thought about that? And how does that affect our water? I'd like to know that. I also found another article, industry article, called Sniffing for Gas by Shell Oil Company. And they claim a different story than you all, you gas company people here. They say that fractures 8,000 feet the gas comes all the way up to the surface because of the naturally occurring fractures. Well, if you're fracking and you're causing more fractures, and there's already naturally occurring fractures that cause the gas to go up into our air, what does that do to our water? I think there's a double talking going on here. Well, here's to you. I hope you don't have to drink any of this. I hope you all fight.
Thank you. I'm Gary Stewart, and I'm the founder and executive director of the Interfaith Environmental Alliance. And we are a nonprofit organization, nonpartisan, but we're committed to forming alliances throughout the state, bringing congregations together to, one, green our congregations, become ecologically sustainable, but also form alliances to address local, state, and national environmental issues. Now, some of you may wonder, well, why is a religious person talking about this issue from a religious context? But I think it's quite normal. Faith traditions, we emphasize the importance of justice, of fair play. We speak about the well-being, taking care of the well-being of others, of loving our neighbors. And what we are concerned, a growing number of us, are the ecological impacts that are happening in this area of Tarrant County and soon to be happening in my part of this area. I'm from Dallas. It seems so easy to ignore individuals and their testimony of health problems, of degradation of their water, degradation of their property, having wake up one day, go to work, come back, and there's a well right next to their home, destroying the value of their land, property. Yes, thank you. And people are getting sick. Livestock are dying. And I work at a medical center, and I know that toxins are carcinogenic, and people's health will ultimately be undermined. This is a faith issue for us, and we ask you, EPA, please do the right thing, because TCEQ and the state's regulatory bodies are utterly corrupt and have failed the public. Thank you.
Next, we have Virginia Simon, something from the Mountain Petition Association.
Good evening. First, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you can't study what you don't know. Close the Halliburton loophole first and foremost. This evening, most of the issues with contamination we've heard about in most of the papers across the country relate to groundwater sources and contamination of freshwater wells. I live north of Lake Grapevine in Flower Mound, Texas. We have a number of wells that have been tracked there already and others that are being planned. The contours of the land just south of these wells go directly into Lake Grapevine. We've already had a documented spill of flow back water, and we've had air emission tests that identified carbon disulfide in our air. I would like to see you design a test or a study that looks at how and if chemical waste products from both accidental spills as well as from any particulate matter from fugitive emissions might enter Lake Grapevine or any other surface water area. Also, a different note that I haven't heard tonight, I'd ask you to look at changes in chronic disease patterns and changes in the incidences of cancers. In Thailand, we had a study, and they have identified a higher incidence of breast cancer than normal. They're also looking at childhood leukemia cases, but they don't believe they have a cluster there. I ask you to look at the linkages between diseases and fracturing in that area. Highest priorities, I guess, for me, coming from an urban area that's just starting to get encroached by urban drilling, I'd ask you to look at urban areas